She never said she didn't love you. She just stopped acting like she did. You felt it. The silence, the distance, the little excuses that made you question yourself. And still, you kept giving more, hoping that effort could fix indifference. But what if it never could? What if what you thought was love was actually behavioral control? A slow psychological pull that keeps you chasing something she already withdrew. Most men think they're being patient. In reality, they're being trained. Trained to wait, trained to please, trained to stay. If that sounds familiar, don't move. Because by the end of this, you'll finally understand the 10 invisible signs that reveal when she's not loving you. She's playing you. She says she's busy, but somehow she's never too busy for attention. You've seen it before. The unanswered texts, the "I'll call you later," the plans that always fall through. And yet, she's still online, still posting, still laughing with someone else. Most men don't get destroyed because women leave them. They break because they never realize they're being played while it's happening. Emotional games don't start with betrayal. They start with psychology. And that's exactly what we're about to decode. Today, I'll show you 10 psychological signs she's emotionally playing you. The patterns hidden behind her excuses, her silence, her words. Let's dissect this. Number 1, the excuse loop. When time becomes a weapon, she tells you she's busy. Work, family, errands, stress, always something, always somewhere. But what you don't notice is how her busy is selective. She's never too busy for what excites her. She's too busy for you. When a woman starts using time as a shield, she's not protecting her schedule. She's protecting her emotions. This isn't about deadlines. It's about distance. A woman who's emotionally invested will create space for connection even in chaos. But a woman who's fading will weaponize time. She'll make you chase her through silence, through waiting, through small crumbs of attention that keep you hopeful but powerless. This pattern is called avoidant attachment, a defense mechanism where she withdraws intimacy to regain control. The less you feel her, the safer she feels. She needs to feel wanted but not owned, needed but not committed. And here's the truth. A woman who wants you will make time. A woman who's playing you will make excuses. Every unanswered call, every rain check, every vague maybe later. It's not random. It's behavioral design. She's teaching you that she's the prize, and you should feel grateful just to get a moment of her. Silence for her isn't neglect, it's strategy. And the longer you wait for her to find time, the more she learns that your patience is the least she can pull anytime she wants. Number 2, the hidden life. When she keeps you a secret. You've been seeing her for months, yet you've never met a single friend. Never seen her world beyond the screen. Every time you ask, there's an excuse. They're busy, you wouldn't like them, it's too soon. But the truth is simple. If she's proud of you, she wants people to know you exist. If she's hiding you, it's not shyness, it's strategy. A woman keeps you in the shadows when she wants to protect her options. It's psychological safety. When no one knows about you, she's free to keep other doors half open, to flirt, to entertain, to explore without accountability. You become a temporary emotional placeholder, a name without context, a secret without definition. Women who are emotionally unavailable crave the illusion of connection, not the responsibility that comes with it. They'll give you intimacy in private, but distance in public. A dual reality that feeds their ego without risking their freedom. And here's the truth. The one she hides isn't the one she values, it's the one she uses. Don't mistake her secrecy for privacy. Those are not the same thing. Privacy is protection. Secrecy is avoidance. So if you find yourself trapped in the shadows of her life, remember this. The longer you stay hidden, the easier it becomes for her to erase you. And you'll realize too late that you were never part of her story, just a chapter she never intended to publish. Number 3, the phone barrier. When presence means nothing, you're sitting across from her. The light hits her face, the music hums in the background, but she's not there. Her eyes flicker to the screen every few seconds, her thumbs scrolling like it's a reflex. She laughs, not at your words, but at something someone else just sent. That moment right there, that's not distraction, that's emotional displacement. Every time she reaches for her phone, she's reaching for dopamine. The tiny spark of validation that feels more satisfying than your presence. It's not personal, it's chemical. But it's also a sign. Because when a woman is emotionally invested, she craves depth, not notifications. When she's not, she uses distraction as camouflage to avoid the weight of genuine connection. Psychologists call it the dopamine loop, the cycle of constant checking, constant comparing, constant craving. It's an addiction to attention. And like every addiction, it consumes the real for the sake of the instant. You might think you're boring her. You're not. You've just stopped being her escape. She's found a stronger stimulus, a faster hit. And here's the brutal truth. Distraction is the new form of rejection. When she can't stay present with you, she's showing you exactly where you rank in her hierarchy of stimulation. You're no longer novelty, you're background noise. So don't beg for her attention while she's lost in the glow of her screen. Because the more you compete with her phone, the clearer it becomes. You're not fighting another man. You're fighting her addiction to the world watching her. Number 4, the validation game. When she flirts in front of you, you're standing next to her, and another man walks by. He makes her laugh a little too long, a little too freely. You watch as she leans in, eyes bright, voice softer than the one she uses with you. Then she glances your way, not to check if you're hurt, but to see how much it hurts. That's not carelessness. That's calibration. For women who crave attention, validation is their emotional oxygen. It's not always about attraction, it's about control. The ability to spark desire in others reminds her she's still powerful, still wanted, still free. That small, careless flirtation isn't random. It's a test to measure your tolerance to see how much disrespect you'll excuse in the name of love. This behavior feeds a psychological loop known as validation addiction, a dependency on being seen, admired, and desired. Every smile she gets is a microdose of importance. Every reaction she provokes a hit of power. And here's the truth. Attention is her currency. Every man who reacts is paying her. If you stay silent, she assumes she can get away with it. If you react, she knows she still owns your emotions. Either way, she wins. Unless you stop playing. Because once a woman learns she can feed her ego in your presence, she'll never value your respect. She'll trade dignity for attention, and you'll find yourself defending a woman who quietly enjoys watching you compete for her. The erosion of respect doesn't happen through betrayal. It begins with the habit of testing how little she can give before you finally break. Number 5, the transaction. When she calls only. When she needs you, days pass. No messages, no calls. Then suddenly her name flashes on your screen. She sounds warm this time, her tone softer than usual. But listen closely, there's always a reason. Her car broke down. She needs advice. She's been thinking about you. But right after, there's a favor waiting behind that sweetness. What you're experiencing isn't affection. It's conditional engagement. Love used like currency. She doesn't reach for your presence. She reaches for your utility. And the moment her problem is solved, her warmth disappears like it never existed. This is what psychologists call an instrumental relationship. One where emotional closeness is a tool, not a truth. She offers comfort only when she needs compliance. Her charm isn't connection, it's strategy. Men often confuse this with love because it mimics it so well. She thanks you. She praises you. She lets you feel needed. But what you don't see is how she's reinforcing a loop. Your help, her attention. And that's how she keeps you loyal. Not through passion, but through purpose. Here's the truth. If her warmth appears only when she needs help, that's not affection. That's currency. You lose your self-respect not by giving too much, but by giving without awareness. When you let her use your kindness as a vending machine for comfort, she learns that all she has to do to keep you is go missing until she needs something again. You're not her partner, you're her resource. And she knows exactly how to make you proud to stay that way. Number 6, the future dodge. When she avoids depth, she says, "Let's not rush things," or "I just want to enjoy the moment." It sounds reasonable, even romantic. But if months pass and every talk about the future dies before it starts, you're not in a relationship. You're in emotional limbo, a space she controls by refusing to define. Avoidance feels peaceful because it's quiet. But silence isn't safety, it's strategy. Women who fear commitment often disguise it as freedom. They don't want to end things. They just want to make sure they can anytime without guilt. This is what psychologists call commitment avoidance. The art of maintaining closeness without depth. She wants your presence, but not your plans. Your affection, but not your direction. And by keeping the relationship half open, she ensures one thing. She never has to be the one who walks away. You see, it's easier to drift than to decide. And that's why she'll keep you orbiting long enough to keep her comfortable, but never close enough to feel real. Here's the truth. If she avoids talking about tomorrow, it's because she's already planning her exit today. Ambiguity is her shield and your hope is her leash. Don't confuse her calmness for connection. Some women don't ghost. They fade slowly, softly, so you can't even tell when love turned into waiting, because that's how emotional control works. It doesn't shout, it disappears. Number 7, the ex-echo. When her past still owns her, she mentions his name like it slipped out. Sometimes it's subtle, a comparison, a story, a memory disguised as a joke. Other times it's obvious. She still follows him, still checks his posts, still talks about how things used to be. You tell yourself she's just being honest, but deep down you feel it. You're competing with a ghost. This isn't nostalgia, it's emotional residue. The leftover energy from an attachment that never fully ended. When a woman hasn't processed her past, she brings it into the present, consciously or not. Her ex becomes the shadow that defines how she sees every man after him. Psychologists call this emotional imprinting. The phenomenon where strong emotional experiences carve deep neural patterns that later shape attraction, expectation, even conflict. She's not comparing you to him. She's measuring you against the feelings he created. That's why no matter how much you give, it never feels enough. You're not fighting to win her heart. You're fighting to overwrite her memory. And here's the truth. You're not dating her. You're dating her memory of someone else. Men often think they can heal her. That patience will make her forget. But healing doesn't come from replacement. It comes from release. And that's something only she can do. So when she keeps talking about the past, take it for what it is, a sign she's still there. And the longer you stay, the more you'll realize you're not part of her next chapter. You're the rebound character in a story she hasn't finished reading. Number 8. The boundary flip. When she makes you the problem, you tell her you're uncomfortable with how she talks to other men. You ask her not to post something that cheapens both of you. And suddenly you're insecure, controlling, toxic. This is not misunderstanding. This is reversal. Turning your standards into accusations so she never has to take responsibility. When you draw a line, she doesn't see it as respect. She sees it as resistance, and resistance threatens her control. So, she flips the script. You're no longer the man with boundaries. You're the villain who's limiting her. Psychologists call this gaslighting guilt, manipulating someone into doubting their emotional clarity. Each time you defend your values, she reframes them as flaws. And because you love her, you'll start apologizing for wanting respect. That's how she wins, not by dominance, but by confusion. Every time you back down to keep the peace, you teach her one lesson. Your peace costs less than her comfort. Here's the truth. A man without boundaries isn't loving. He's lost. Strong men aren't defined by how much they tolerate, but by what they refuse to accept. A woman who respects you doesn't weaponize your care against you. She doesn't test how far she can push before you break. You can't protect a woman who keeps trying to prove she doesn't need your protection. So the next time she flips your boundaries into accusations, remember she's not defending her freedom, she's defending her power. And love that demands you abandon yourself isn't love at all. It's control in disguise. Number 9, the sweet trap. Compliments with a price. She tells you how amazing you are, how different, how lucky she feels to have you. And for a moment you believe her until the request follows. A favor, a small loan, a problem only you can solve. Suddenly the flattery makes sense. It wasn't admiration, it was preparation. When affection comes with timing this perfect, it's not affection, it's conditioning. She's training you to respond to praise like a reward, to associate validation with obedience. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement, giving just enough warmth to keep you invested, but never enough to make you feel secure. Each compliment becomes a leash, each smile a subtle transaction. You begin to crave her approval more than her presence because her approval feels unpredictable, and that's what keeps you hooked. Here's the truth. She doesn't praise you to appreciate you. She praises you to prepare you. It's not love when her kindness arrives only at the moment she needs something. It's manipulation wearing perfume. You'll start noticing the pattern. The sweeter her tone, the bigger the favor. And by the time you realize it, her words will have rewired you to chase her gratitude like it's proof of your worth. But gratitude should never be conditional. Whenever you're amazing comes with a price. It's not love talking, it's leverage. Number 10. The ultimatum. When she threatens to leave, you're arguing, emotions running high, and suddenly she says, "Maybe we should just break up." The words hang in the air, sharp, deliberate, designed to wound. She doesn't mean it, not yet. What she's doing is checking your fear. That's emotional coercion, using the threat of loss to control behavior. It's not communication, it's conditioning. By dangling the possibility of leaving, she creates panic. You start to negotiate, to apologize, to promise. You give up ground to earn back calm. And that's exactly what she wanted. When a woman says she'll leave every time things don't go her way, she's not trying to end the relationship. She's reminding you who holds the power to end it. Here's the truth. Anyone who weaponizes leaving was never planning to stay. Healthy love argues, compromises, rebuilds. Toxic love manipulates through instability by making you feel like every disagreement could cost you everything. It keeps you loyal through fear, not connection. If she truly valued the bond, she'd work through conflict. But when she reaches for the threat instead of the solution, she's saying something louder than anger. She's telling you she values control more than peace. So when she says, "Maybe we should break up," don't chase. Don't bargain. Because some tests are meant to be failed. A woman who respects you won't use leaving as leverage. She'll choose repair over rupture, effort over ego. And once a woman uses fear to keep you, understand this. What you're protecting isn't love anymore. It's a leash. These 10 signs aren't meant to make you hate women. They're meant to make you see them clearly without the fog of fantasy or fear. Because the truth is, emotional games don't begin with cruelty. They begin with confusion, with silence that feels like mystery, with affection that feels earned, with attention that feels like love. Until it doesn't. Most men don't lose because they're weak. They lose because they forget what strength really is. Strength isn't chasing, fixing, or proving. It's recognizing patterns and walking away when those patterns no longer serve your peace. You don't lose to women, you lose to your need to be chosen. And as long as that need drives you, you'll keep mistaking manipulation for meaning. This isn't about becoming cold or detached, it's about being awake. Because once you understand how emotional control works, how affection turns into leverage, how silence becomes strategy, you stop being a participant. You become the observer. And that's where your power lives. A real connection never demands blindness. It invites awareness. Love isn't supposed to confuse you. If it does, it's not love. It's control disguised as connection. So if this spoke to you, if something in these truths felt too familiar, it's time to shift from reaction to recognition. Subscribe, not because you agree with everything, but because you're done pretending not to see. Clarity is power, and power begins the moment you stop letting someone else define your worth.